God made man in his own image. That's what is written in the Bible. So how could this be understood or experienced? So if we would see it as an inverted well, so from the absolute consciousness of God, which is undifferentiated, beyond duality, so there is no, obviously, time and space, so it's not possible to do anything. So that's the highest divinity, we could say, highest consciousness, absolute. And from there was emerging first a power, a sound, the logos, or they call it in India the Om, or it's a vibration, light and sound, and then this created the whole under planes below and this physical plane where we are speaking from now. So, but by doing nothing, from this absolute consciousness emanated this power, or Shakti we could call it. Some people call it in India the Sadguru, the power who is doing everything. So why it is said in the Bible that God made man in his own image? Because we have the ability to realize the absolute in us, in man, which is not different from the absolute consciousness, which is prior to any manifestation, any logos or sound or light, pranava. So if we can realize that, then realize that as absolute consciousness we are doing nothing, because we are not in time and space. So when man realizes absolute consciousness, he realizes his own Shiva state, or absolute consciousness, or self, and from there emanate the sound or the energy, Shakti. So that is an expression of the absolute consciousness within the absolute man, we could say. So when we think we are involved in the Shakti play energy, in the manifestation, then we are identified as a bubble, or a bindu, which is what they call in India a particle, and so we are identified with something in the wheel of samsara, which is moving in time and space. So there is also all the bubbles, all the particles, and we are separated from them, and this is the whole game of samsara, is illusion, maya, in time and space. But if we realize the eye of the cyclone, the absolute consciousness within us, where nothing happens, where there is always peace, silence, which is the highest consciousness or divinity in us, then there is no blockage, because Shakti energy is free to flow as she likes, manifestation. So there is no conflict between my innate nature of peace and its expression, between the absolute Shiva or consciousness or self and its expression. There is no conflict. So there is peace, because this consciousness in man, in the absolute man, knows that he is Shiva, that he has nothing to do, no duty, no responsibility. So there is no place for ego, no place for body mind, no place for anything in that. So there cannot be any guiltiness, anything attached to the individuality. So the more we realize that, this absolute freedom. Then there's this inner love also between Shiva and Shakti, between the peace and the movement is recognized, and this experience, the inner love inside, without tension, without conflict. There is nothing to fight with because it happens by itself. I'm not doing anything. That man realizes its own absolute consciousness and is free from action. He is in the center of the wheel, which is never moving. But it happens, things happen. So nothing can go wrong. From this absolute perception, nothing can go wrong. There is no good, no bad. It's also from this absolute center, which is not a center, there is also no pain, no pleasure, no relative experience. They are perceived, but as an appearance on the screen of consciousness, which is a field of consciousness, on where are projected all what is appearing, all the particles which are appearing on the plane of, on the sky of consciousness. So that brings now the point of no need of conflict between spirituality and the world or manifestation. That's where we come to what is said sometimes, the world is Brahman. First you are told that the world is an illusion because you are stuck in Maya, you withdraw from the Maya. But then second statement is said to be only the self is real. To realize your true nature, which is not in Maya. But then when you realize that the world is your own creation. So there is no need to reject it, to protect anything. And this is this total letting go and this rest, absolute rest into your self. The self which is not in time and space, which is not doing anything, the absolute Shiva consciousness or self or God consciousness, whatever name, doesn't matter. And so in that, everything is possible. Infinite possibility. From the non-doing, infinite possibility are there. So that's the secret of the marriage of Shiva and Shakti, or stillness and action. Because I, as consciousness, are not doing anything. As absolute consciousness, I'm not doing anything. I am this Shiva absolute, which has no power. Because even to have power is a burden for Shiva, for the absolute. So that's why he's not in time and space, he's free from anything. That's what I am, in a sense. And then things happen, things emanate from there. But I recognize that on my own Shakti, this, which has Shakti, the word Shakti has this female flavor. So it's also connect both aspects, male and female, inside of us. This male principle as absolute Shiva consciousness and this female expression as energy, they are both part of my self. So there is peace, even in action, in doing, because this inner absolute desire has turned back to itself. Instead of wanting things outside, it turned back. This inner fire turned back to itself, and where you can rest in peace, where you are doing nothing. But apparently you are doing something. Now this is talking, things are happening. So that's the apparent contradiction, but it is not, because in the highest divinity there is no separation. There is no possibility of conflict or, or division. So this is the absolute freedom of consciousness, and all the idea of freedom and liberation happen within this absolute consciousness, absolute freedom. So they are just also appearance, this concept of freedom and liberation. But for that, what I am. There is, it's all just happenings. So that's, I guess, what one of the biggest insight realization we can have. So there is nothing to resist, nothing to fight, and you can be in peace and at the same time let action unfold in the most beautiful way, because the more this awareness is there, the less blockage, the less, it's like in a physical body, then all the emotional energy blocks are which are not there, or much less, allow energy to freely. So that's the secret of the inner marriage of the Shiva and Shakti, or the absolute consciousness, peace, silence, and manifestation and action. So thank you so much for listening, and if you wish to like the video and subscribe, feel free. Welcome. See you next time. Namaste.